never be a gangster. If you move into his neighborhood, he'll never make a sound.
Hello. Well, welcome to Activate 2018. Welcome to Montreal. This is such a beautiful city, I have to say. This is my first time here. I'm actually just ashamed of the fact that we haven't met before, because just walking around, I hope you've had a chance to just explore the culture, the great food, these beautiful fall leaves that are out here. As Grant was saying, I mean, this is just, it's really a privilege for us to be here with you all, to host this conference. We get to bring everybody together every year. We get to talk about some of the most exciting developments in our space. We get to explore some of the tougher challenges, and we really get to look at opportunities to do better with this technology, to do better as practitioners, and to really make a change. You know, the way people are using search technology, AI technology, it's not just about industry, it's really about touching the lives of people, enhancing the lives of our install base. And so we feel very strongly about this event and just how important it is to bring this community together, to bring all you folks together. If we want to get past this myth or this hype around artificial intelligence, we want to look at what's real. I just look at all the people in this room. I look at the solar community, I look at the practitioners, I look at the engineers, I look at the enthusiasts, and these are folks who have transformed this quest for this relevant data at scale to something that's become the most important aspect of our user experience. And in our consumer lives, we get to experience this innovation on a daily basis. We rely on Alexa to give us updates around the weather, Google assisting us in optimizing trips, or Netflix changing the way that we're experiencing media. So while this expectation has increased with our users, often when we look at our work life, there's sort of an imbalance in terms of meeting those expectations. Things are slow. They feel antiquated. They feel cumbersome. They're mostly not intelligent, whether it's artificial or otherwise. So all this inundation of just inefficiency, it gets incredibly frustrating. And it's frustrating because we know that we can do better. We know that the same technology stacks that are making our personal lives so enjoyable are not being leveraged the way they can to transform our work life. So for most of us in here, when we think about search, we're not thinking about those 10 blue links. We've moved way past that. We're not thinking about that box on top of a page. We're thinking about search as a gateway into that perfect data experience, that perfect customer experience. It's something that can be contextualized. It can be personalized. Most importantly, it's productive. It captures our intent, our preferences, and it measures engagement in a way that no other technology can. So while I'm sure most of you here know this, we feel that it's time that everybody else understands this, and they understand the transformative power of the technology that we have at our disposal to elevate customer experiences, to elevate engagement and happiness. So even that verb search, sometimes it just doesn't quite fit anymore. Because when we talk about search, we're not talking about a single tool or a single technology. It's an entire ecosystem. It's an ecosystem of technology that makes that data delivery not only successful, but most importantly, it's enjoyable. So think about that. What does enjoyable mean in this context? It's delight. It's that feeling when something anticipates your needs, when it understands your intent. It's an experience that engages us holistically. We're moving beyond just keywords and text. It's hearing our voices. It's having conversations with us. It's even seeing pictures. So when I say search, and I think when a lot of us say search, we're talking about all of the aspects that make these application experiences more intelligent. It's about bringing happiness and fulfillment to our users. It's about bringing productivity and driving action, which can help us get on with our day, find that perfect product, discover new content. And so I encourage a lot of you, when you think about what it is that you do every day, and for a lot of you who've been doing this for a long time, you've really been at the forefront of getting to more intelligent application experiences, intelligent technology experiences. And we have capabilities, particularly with the brainpower in this room, to start pushing this into the enterprise, pushing this into our organizations. So when I think about artificial intelligence and why, this often it just feels like a pipe dream, and Grant touched on it, we hear these terms all the time. It seems like everything has artificial intelligence in it, whether it's an app for doing your laundry, or the way that we do marketing and the way that we do prospecting, the way that we shop. But why it seems so disconnected to me is because it really just sort of ends up feeling like a pipe dream. Because we think about all this AI and what this means, but the reality is, who are we building AI for? What is the purpose at the end of the day? It's about human beings, and it's about delivering on human experiences. So back to the paradigm of search, when we think about the natural language data access, the smarts around intent, around enrichment, around correlation, this is really about humanizing AI, making it more accessible, making it something that we can experience on a daily basis and have been experiencing on a daily basis in a less of a sci-fi context, but more in a real-world context that has sort of set our expectations. And it takes more than machines to do that. It actually takes people. And so when I hear the term AI, I often don't refer to it as artificial intelligence. I refer to it as augmented intelligence. Because in order to humanize AI, to really have the impact and make it more transformative for everyday life, we need to empower humans. We need to empower the people in our organizations who can bring context and domain expertise. We need to capture this intent, but then we need to transform it into an outcome that has an impact on our goals. And that's something only a human being can do. And so with all the machine learning and all the technology that's out there, it's important that we remember some of our more important assets are sitting next to us. They're sitting around us in our organizations. They're sitting in offices across the globe. And we can tap into that expertise and really drive these experiences forward. So at Lucidworks, we have a saying for this, and it's called honoring people. And if you think about that word honor, right, it's such a strong and meaningful word. Because it means that we need to build technology that respects the people that are deploying it and that are managing it and that are trying to obtain new goals through what we're delivering. But it's also meaning that we need to empower people to bring everything that they have to the table and leverage that in order to make their customer lives better. So we've forged this path now in the enterprise where we're trying to move away from what we call a data-centric point of view. And get people to start thinking more about a human-centric point of view. Take this idea of honoring people to the next level. So with our Fusion stack, our goal is to streamline a lot of these complex concepts and operations and empower our user community and empower our partners to move away from thinking about data and thinking about infrastructure and start thinking about those human experiences. Being human-centric means moving away from a goal of simply analyzing and observing, but actually taking action. Don't just track user activity, but actually understand the intent. What did they want to do? What do they expect to do? To achieve this human-centric point of view, we need to stop thinking about data and start thinking about the experiences that we can deliver through data. And so too often I feel that in these conversations and all of this hype that's going on, we just forget about the point of it all, which is really about the people that we're trying to serve. And it's not just our customers, by the way. It's the people within our organizations, the ones that can actually prevent some of these more unfortunate outcomes that these machine-led, data-centric points of view tend to create. So I was talking to a specialized fashion retailer one time, and they said to me, you know, problem with Amazon is Amazon's got no taste. I'll be shopping for a lawnmower, they're recommending me shoes, I don't know what the heck is going on, although I kind of wanted those shoes, which is a whole separate conversation. But the reality is that, you know, when you start thinking about what machines do, you end up with situations like this, right, where we've unfortunately tagged this user as somebody with a toilet seat obsession. So this is the problem when we just blindly go into some of these technologies, when we just throw a bunch of ML and just let the algorithms go figure it out. So this particular retailer inspired me because he said, you know what our most important asset is, and they've got stores all over the globe and billions of dollars worth of revenue? It's our people. Our people who understand style, who are trendsetters. And our job through technology is to extract all of that wisdom and drive it back into our customer experiences and build tools and technology that don't just automate, but empower. And allow these folks, these domain experts, to do what they're great at and curate these perfect experiences. So it's the marriage of the machine learning and the AI coupled with individual ingenuity, with individual innovative ideas and understanding of context and expertise. And this is really the goal to getting these things right. We want to take advantage of technology for things like efficiency, for handling scale, from going from billions of records to hundreds of records so we can start to really narrow in on what's important. And then we want to leverage the folks within our organization who have that final touch, who have years of experience and understanding, and can use that for something transformative. So why is all this taking so long to take hold? And like I said before, I mean, I look around this room and folks that I've seen for many of years and folks that I've gotten to meet, and for a lot of you, you are at the cutting edge of a lot of this technology, but it's not quite hitting the mainstream just yet. And one of the main reasons is this stuff is just hard. There are so many different features and capabilities that we need to tune just right. The sharding, the scaling, the tokenizing, the speech detection, and so on. And so trying to make all this stuff available, trying to really activate AI effectively, it's just pretty damn tough. So not only are these concepts themselves difficult to master, but we've got this entire symphony. You know, I often feel like when I'm talking to our users and talking to folks in the industry, it's like you're almost like a conductor, right? It's not that you can just go and say, oh, I'm a LAMP stack programmer and this and that. No, you're trying to work between all of these technologies and creating this harmony and creating this rhythm, whether it's Solar and Spark or Kafka and Flume and NLP libraries and so on. And so all of this complexity is why we need to come together once a year and really explore these challenges. And for Lucidworks, our goal is to try to deliver efficiency, try to lower that bar so there's a more attainable goal in terms of delivering on that perfect human experience. So that perception of difficulty is really what's been preventing enterprises from adopting AI technology more aggressively. In fact, to put it frankly, we're not exactly catching the wave, broadly speaking, as we could be, or as effectively as the technology at our disposal would enable. So conquering this new frontier, it's going to require a mastering of all of these techs. It's going to require empowering the next generation of developers to leverage things quicker and easier, to remove operation challenges, ops challenges, remove development challenges, to lower the bar in terms of delivering these capabilities into our applications and into our services. So with our goal of honoring people, it's really about honoring you all. It's about honoring our users. It's about honoring their customers and their user communities and ensuring that we're taking the best advantage of what we've got at our disposal to deliver on these experiences and to meet these expectations. So as Grant was saying, this was really why we felt it was important to rebrand this conference. We wanted to recognize that these technologies that we work with on a daily basis, and more importantly, this community, are really at the forefront of activating AI, of driving it into the enterprise and beyond, shaping the way that we think about user experiences across all communities. You have been driving the shift from data to humans. We've been moving away from thinking about whatever the farm animal stack, and we've got these mega elephant hybrids now and all these things going on, and actually thinking about the services that we're trying to deliver. Our users don't care where they run. They don't care what we're back-ending with. They don't care that things are in the cloud or on a particular latest and greatest stack. They care about the experiences that you're delivering. They care about the respect that you provide in terms of trying to understand their intentions and trying to map them to successful outcomes. So at this conference, it's really an opportunity for us to share this cutting-edge knowledge with each other. It's an opportunity for us to learn from each other. I always get impressed when we come in here and the conversations that are happening and the challenges. We're constantly taking the bar and setting it higher. We're constantly pushing each other further. There's so much great content here that's so real. It's things that people are doing that touch our daily lives, whether it's sites that we go to for content, whether it's shopping online, whether it's services for health and for civil. All of these things are being impacted by the work that you're doing. And our goal is to enable you and to enable each other and to enable all of us as a community to deliver on this transformational promise of AI. And there are examples around us. We see them daily. In fact, solar's been playing such a key role in so many impactful and world-changing projects. We're incredibly proud and incredibly excited of the work that this community has been doing. I think of the NASA's Planetary Data System. This is a long-term archive of all the digital data returned from NASA's planetary missions, from all types of flight information, ground-based data acquisition, including lab experiments. It's shaping the future of space exploration. Solar, combined with the Blacklight Project, which was created by Lucidworks founder Eric Hatcher, has impacted the world by being the driving technology behind the Panama Papers. This is catching bad actors and exposing corruption at the highest levels of industry and government. And better access to smarter data has helped India give a voice to the poor. The Aadhaar program in India is a biometric smart data warehouse of information such as iris patterns of all 1.2 billion citizens. This is helping direct over $60 billion worth of aid to the people who need it most to touch the most vulnerable citizens. And so while the revolution might be over, because as we said, open source is one. It's there, it's a mainstay, it's going to continue to be a driving force of innovation. What we're sort of a part of now is a movement. And this is a movement led by all the people in this room. You're the innovators, you're the community, you're the professionals, you're the enthusiasts, and you're driving some of the most exciting developments in our space. So while a lot of us have been doing this for a long time, I'm starting to get this feeling that this is just the beginning, that there's a huge amount of change that's about to come. And when you see the rate of change and the pace in which it's happening, these are sometimes the most exciting times. We've seen this with things like cellular technology, or even going back to microprocessors and PCs and phones, and you think about just how quickly innovation starts to happen and what that means in terms of the future. And I'm feeling that in our space today, whether it's around data technology, machine learning technology, deep learning. These things are happening every single day. We're seeing these impactful transformations. So this is a really exciting time to be here. This is a really exciting time to meet with you all and to hear about the things that you're doing, because these aren't pipe dreams. Rarely do I walk into situations at this conference where people are talking about science experiments. They're solving real-world problems, and they can share how they got to those goals, and we can challenge them on how we can push things further. So as a group of users, a group of practitioners, a group of friends, I'm so just impressed with the way that we're constantly raising the bar. So together, we're starting to change what was a default future that felt like, you know, things are just going to be mediocre for a while, to the point where the default future is one of these sort of endless possibilities in terms of what we can do together. So at Lucidworks, we've been so committed to this community, and Grant talked about this, and there's a separate talk that we give about how we decide where things should be contributed back and where we should start to package things up and support them a little bit differently. And our commitment is to ensure that things that have broad-reaching value, things that can impact as a whole and don't serve narrow use cases and narrow applications, belong back in that community. And that's why we're very proud of the efforts we have in terms of contributing our work back to Solar, back to Spark, and in heavy support of the Apache Foundation. Because these things are important, and as we collaborate together, as we bring in insights from this diverse user community, especially in things like data retrieval and search, where we're tapping into different types of language and culture and interpretations and processing and semantics, it's incredibly important to have a more collaborative effort, because that's going to benefit all of us. Our primary goal with all of this is to really help accelerate AI in some of the brightest and most exciting companies in the world. And when I see the work that we've been doing over the last year, I get incredibly excited with our R&D team, with our data science team, with our engineering team, and some of the innovations that they've brought to market in the last year. And we're proud of this human-centric approach. We think it sets us apart of a lot of the infrastructure companies out there and cloud companies out there that are simply thinking about how things get run, how things get deployed. We want those to be table stakes in terms of the expectations that we set. But the goal should always be to think about how are things actually getting used. Because we don't think about search terms. We don't think about clicks or signals or promotions. We think about the world as a series of digital moments. There are moments occurring every day, whether we work supporting an enterprise, whether we're in healthcare, whether we're in retail. Users are showing up with an issue. They're showing up with a want, I should say, more importantly. And our goal is to help you capture those digital moments that are occurring all around us and transform those into meaningful outcomes. One of the largest oil and gas companies in the world captures the moment with Lucidworks Fusion when somebody's trying to find content or expertise. And within over 300,000 people at the company in over 50 countries, we're surfacing experts, we're surfacing insights about that organization that can help people connect and be more productive and lead to further research and discovery. There's a financial service company that's helping manage pensions and helping manage people's retirements. And using Fusion, we can drive the next best action when a user does something, when they perform an activity, when they've had a life event. Or even companies like Red Hat, where they're anticipating a problem before you state it to keep you going with your day, to keep your operations running smoothly. So I encourage you to think about these moments that occur within your enterprise, within your organization. Because the success that I just talked about is not just coming from what we're delivering as technology, it's the ingenuity that our customers are bringing, it's the innovation that our customers are bringing. They understand the context. There are places full of experts. They're not just machines, they're not just algorithms. We're using algorithms and machines to drive efficiency, but we're augmenting those through the experts, through the people who have been doing this for years, for decades, and leveraging that asset and making it front and center in terms of how we're driving innovation forward. Our belief is by taking the solar technology and Spark technology and combining that with our Fusion platform that we can truly humanize AI and make it more attainable and make it more of a natural motion that occurs within the enterprise. Whether we're talking nonprofit organizations, government organizations, or even large multinational corporations, there's still a bar there that needs to be surpassed in order to drive this vision forward. So one of the more exciting things for us at this conference is that we get to share a lot of these cool things that we'll be up to. And I'm just going to run through a couple of them quickly here. One of the issues we realized in talking to a lot of merchandisers was how laborious it is and how much time people are spending combing through data, trying to understand data, just to curate that perfect experience, just to capture that moment perfect enough to deliver happiness or to deliver an outcome to a customer when they want it, when they raise their hand. So we developed what we call a predictive merchandising capability. And this is in our upcoming release. And our goal here is to aid in the spotting of these trends, the spotting of these outliers and these moments, and to surface those to the people in the organization that can make the right decisions, who can curate that final mile, and who can drive customers to a point of delight and a point of happiness. So that's something I encourage you to come check out in our booth. Another thing we've been looking at is this whole concept of enterprise search. I know as soon as I said that, you all got really excited because everybody loves thinking about enterprise search because you've probably had dozens and dozens of successful enterprise search deployments throughout your career. Well, we wanted to take a different approach to this. We wanted to say, what can we do here to really help honor the people that are using these products within our companies? What are they really trying to achieve? And what they're looking for is insights. There's a new heightened expectation of how these enterprise tools should work. And a lot of this is being driven by millennials in the workplace, sure, but there's also these digital natives that are starting to look around and say, you know, I've been using applications and experiences in my personal life for over a decade, and we're not quite there. So we wanted to take an approach to enterprise search which was much more modern, which felt much more like a productivity tool. And in order to do that, it was about providing turnkey access to very advanced capabilities like content classification, relationship mapping, natural language processing. We want to deliver these in a way that developers can simply adopt. And not only adopt them as endpoints and APIs, but deliver them through applications with our App Studio project and through these smart panels which can actually surface these insights when customers are looking for them. So this is elevating this concept of enterprise search, which has been around here for a long time and hard for us to get excited about, and thinking about a productivity tool that can really aid workers in completing their tasks, finding expertise internally, understanding the content relationships at a much deeper level. And finally, question and answering. You know, there's a quote from Bill Gates, which is about almost 20 years ago, where he said, "The future of search is verbs." And what that really meant was the future of search is really about driving action, moving away from this concept of, okay, here's a bunch of documents, now go sift through them. And so if we take a step back from those 10 blue links and we think about, well, what's the intent? In a lot of these cases, we're seeing more and more natural language queries. And so we've been working on a question and answering system which is allowing enterprises to deliver a lot more of a contextual experience around their content, not just simply dumping documents and dumping information in front of a user, but getting them to an answer. And the way we engage with these systems is changing constantly. We're seeing more voice, we're seeing more images. And so as we evolve this project, the goal is to encompass all of the ways that we as human beings want to engage with our content. and delivering this capability back into the enterprise where we can drive particular domains and particular verticals in order to create this more productive experience. So with that, I just want to thank you all for being here. I talk about how excited I am to share what we have going on. Well, we're even more excited to hear about everything that you have going on. These next 2 days, if you haven't been to this conference before, I'm really excited for you because they're just full of wonderful people, great ideas, so much collaboration, and it really is a sense of a community. You know, I have to go to a lot of technical conferences, and I've never quite felt something that was as special as Revolution, and I know we're carrying that forward here in Activate. So my only ask for you is that we use these 2 days to really push each other. Let's challenge each other. Let's see where the bar is, and let's just try to set it just a little bit higher each time. Because the impact that you all are having here at this event and carrying that forward into the enterprise, into your organizations, it's truly transformational. You've been on the cutting edge of this hype machine for so long without even maybe taking a moment to really recognize it. Because what do people mean when they talk about artificial intelligence, when they talk about AI, when they talk about user experience? User experience used to mean there was this huge palette on these giant monitors, and we worried about which widget and which wonket and which button and how the mouse overs behaved. But when that interface gets to be the size of a wristwatch, all we care about is the right data, and the right data at the right time. And that's something that all of you have been doing in here for a long time and are going to continue to drive and be at the forefront of really activating AI within the enterprise. I also encourage you to think about how within your own organizations, you too can honor people. And again, these aren't just your customers, but these are your domain experts. These are people bringing experience to the table, and how we can develop solutions, develop services, develop applications that truly honor the fact that these folks are bringing so much to the table. Our most important assets are the people sitting around us, sitting in offices, our partners, and we have an ability through better data and better technology to deliver on that promise. So once again, I want to thank you so much for joining us in Montreal. I'm really looking forward to these incredible 2 days, and I know we're all going to have a great conference, so thank you.